Welcome back, dear student. I welcome you to this lesson as we are looking at Bible knowledge in Form 3. Now, as you might be aware that we started this lesson by introducing the book of Isaiah. Now we are looking at the Bible and its uses, so that as we look at the prophet Isaiah, the book of prophet Isaiah, we know for sure what we are going to do. So this time around, we are going to start by looking at the book of prophet Isaiah. Now we are going deeper inside. We'll start analyzing the book of Isaiah. So I am your teacher, W.M. Mawowa. Be there to the end and stay attentive. Now, by the end of this lesson, we need to meet some objectives. What are the objectives that we need to meet? So you as the student, you should be able to analyze the work of first or Proto Isaiah. So the book of Isaiah, we're going to discuss or to analyze it, how it is made. Now, by the end, you need to know the work of first Isaiah. So by the way, Isaiah is divided into parts. What are those parts? But there is first Isaiah, which was also known as Proto Isaiah. So analyze the work of Proto Isaiah. Now, let's start looking at this book of Isaiah. Parts of the book of Isaiah is what we're going to look at. So the book of Isaiah is divided into parts. So there is the first part, which is called the Proto or First or Jerusalem Isaiah. So book of Isaiah is divided into parts. So the first part is what is called the Proto Isaiah or the first Isaiah or Jerusalem Isaiah. And this one is chapters or comprises of chapters 1 up to chapter 39. So this is what properly belongs to the real historical Isaiah. So when you say that there was Isaiah in Jerusalem, this one is a historical figure and is the real person who lived there. So is the work that belongs to him as the first Isaiah, the real historical figure, the real Isaiah. So this part contains prophecies in the period before the Babylonian exile between 765 and 680 BC. There was a time when the Jews were taken into Babylon for exile. So those were the years between 765 and 680 BC. So that was the period of Babylonian exile. So this book of chapters 1 up to chapter 39, basically the chapters contain prophecies in the period before Babylonian exile, before the Jews went to exile. So that period, we have the prophecies by Isaiah. So before the Jews went to exile. By then, the superpower was Assyria. So by that time, the superpower was the Assyrian Empire. Another part of Isaiah is Deutero or second or exilic Isaiah, which contains or comprises of the chapters from chapter 40 to chapter 55. That is Deutero or second or exilic Isaiah. So the first part is called Proto or Jerusalem Isaiah or first Isaiah. The second part is called Deutero or second or exilic Isaiah. So take note of that. So this is the work of a disciple or a student of Isaiah. So you have to know there that the first work, we have said that was the real work of real historical figure by the name Prophet Isaiah. But this second work, it is the work of a disciple or a student of Isaiah. It means someone continued the work of that first Isaiah. So that's what we have here. So he prophesied in the period towards 38 BC, the end of Babylonian exile. So he was in exile and he prophesied he was doing his work towards the end of exile when the Jews were in Babylon, and towards the end of that exile, that's when this disciple of Isaiah started or did his work. So by then the superpower was Babylon. The first, we said Assyria was the superpower, but by this time, Babylon was the superpower. Then the third part of Isaiah is Trito or third or post-exilic Isaiah, comprising of chapters 56 to chapter 61. So this Trito or third or post-exilic Isaiah is has his work from chapter 56 to chapter 61 in the same book of Isaiah. So this is the work of the student or disciple of Jethro, Isaiah. So we see here the second Isaiah we are saying was a student, a disciple of the first one. But the third one is also or was also a disciple of the second Isaiah. So he prophesied during the period after Babylonian exile between 530 and 510 BC. So that was the period 530 to 510 BC. So after exile, after those Jews came back from exile, they were back now to Jerusalem. That was the time now when Trito or third Isaiah did his work. That's why he's called post-exilic Isaiah, because he did his work after exile. So that's what it means by post-exilic or exilic Isaiah. Post, it means after. So it means after exile. So this is the Isaiah who lived after exile. By then, the superpower was Persia. So the question can be, state the three superpowers that cover the book of Isaiah. So what are they? Assyria, Babylon, and Persia. So you have to know those were the superpowers during the different periods of Isaiah. First Isaiah, it was Assyria, and that was the period of Jerusalem Isaiah, the real historical figure. Second Isaiah, it was during Babylon Empire, when the Babylonians were the superpowers. And the third one, the Persians were the superpowers. Now, let's look at the Isaiah tradition. The Isaiah tradition. What do we know about Isaiah? Isaiah itself. When we say Isaiah, it's the books from chapter 1 up to the end. What do we know about the historical figures or the people inside the book of Isaiah? So Jerusalem Isaiah had a school of disciples who, after his death, record his words, studied them, and wrote them. So we see here that Jerusalem Isaiah started all the work. So Jerusalem Isaiah, or the first prophet, the real historical Isaiah, lived in Jerusalem and he started his school with disciples. So he had his disciples and he was with them when he was receiving the prophecies from God. His disciples, therefore, they record this work after he was dead. Then they studied them and they wrote those words. Jethro Isaiah is a known prophet, probably one of the students of Jerusalem Isaiah who was active in Babylon. So when we talk of Jethro or second Isaiah, this one is not known as a person. We can't trace him as a historical figure. But probably theologians, they started to say maybe he should be one of the Jerusalem Isaiah's disciples. And he was active when in Babylon. So it was the time when he was in Babylon that he became active. But in Jerusalem, he was probably the disciple or the student of Jerusalem, Isaiah. Trito Isaiah was a student of Jutro Isaiah who also studied the work of the first and second Isaiah and prophesied in the same tradition. So we see here that the third Isaiah probably was also a student of the second. Therefore, he was not only the student of the second, he also studied the work of his master to say, all right, my master based on first Isaiah or Jerusalem Isaiah. So he studied the three, he studied the two, and he continued his work basing on first and second Isaiah. So this is what we know about the Isaiah tradition. When we talk of the book of Isaiah, what is it all about? What do we get from there? Now, let's begin analyzing or entering the book of Isaiah now, starting with first Isaiah, which is Proto Isaiah or Jerusalem Isaiah. This one, we have said that covers the chapters from Isaiah chapter 1 up to chapter 39. From chapter 1 up to chapter 39, that is first or Proto or Jerusalem Isaiah. Now, the big question as we enter inside the first Isaiah, chapters 1 up to chapter 39, we have now to start by looking at this Jerusalem Isaiah, because we have said that him was a historical figure. He was a real Isaiah, the real prophet who lived in Jerusalem. So what are the facts behind or about this Isaiah? So this Isaiah lived in Judah, particularly in Jerusalem city. He was called in the year that King Uzziah died in about 742 BC. That's when King Uzziah died, during the enthronement of Jotham. Enthronement, it means when the son of the king now becomes or is put to the throne. So he was called during that time. So Jerusalem Isaiah was living in Judah, that is a fact, in Jerusalem, that is a fact, and also he was called during the time when King Uzziah died. So Uzziah died, then his son Jotham was becoming a king, enthronement, the time when Jotham became king. Another fact that is well known is that this Jerusalem Isaiah had two sons, and these sons are known by the names Shear-Jashub and Quickloot First Plunder. So these are the two names, Shear-Jashub and Quickloot First Plunder. So those are the two names of Isaiah's son. Another fact is that he was well informed on Judah's political situation. So as a prophet or as a human being, he knew the political situation of Judah. He knew the political situation of that area, the whole of that area. Not only Judah, but also he knew about Syria, maybe, and other surrounding countries that were there. He knew the political situation by that time. Another fact is that he had access to the king. So as a prophet, as a human being who lived in Jerusalem, in Judah, we see that he had access to the king. He had interaction with the king. He had some contacts with the king himself. And apart from that, another fact is that he was politically active. He was politically active. So this Isaiah was also politically active. Another fact, he was a city man, a statesman, and well educated. So we know that Isaiah was a statesman and he was also well educated. Another fact is that he was the son of Amos. So these are the facts that we know about Isaiah. Now here, we have to look at the title of the book. So in the title of the book, we know it's from Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1. In Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1, there we see where now we start looking, or we start entering the book of Isaiah, starting from chapter 1, verse 1. Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1. I want us to go through there. Chapter 1, verse 1 of Isaiah. That's what we have to look at. I am looking at the Bible here. Now, let me read Isaiah chapter 1, verse 1. The vision concerning Judah and Jerusalem that Isaiah, son of Amos, saw during the reigns of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. So you see here, we see that it is about the visions that Isaiah saw during the reigns of four kings. Uzziah, we see here another king is Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. These are the three kings that are mentioned here. So the book contains messages about Judah and Jerusalem. So that's what we see about the book. So the father of Isaiah was Amos, as it is mentioned. The kings of Judah, the kings during this time of Proto Isaiah. So we see the kings there. They are Uzziah. My strength is Yahweh. That's what it means. He was there between 782 to 742 BC. And Jotham, Yahweh is my perfect, is perfect. Yahweh is perfect. Uzziah means my strength is Yahweh, and Jotham means Yahweh is perfect. From 742 to 745 BC, to 735 BC. So in the BC there, take note that years are going in the reverse order. Ahaz, what does that mean? Yahweh grasps a hand. So grasp the hand. So that's what Ahaz means. 735 to 671 BC. Then Hezekiah, Yahweh is my strength. Yahweh is my strength. That is Hezekiah. That is from 715. Yeah. Take note here that Ahaz was there between 735 to 715 BC. And Hezekiah, Yahweh is my strength, was there from 715 to 687 BC. Isaiah means Yahweh is salvation. Isaiah means Yahweh is salvation. So we have seen the kings and the meanings of their names and the periods when these kings lived. Now, to this far, we have come to the end of this lesson. Now, in this lesson, basically, we are now starting to enter into the book of Isaiah. We have seen a number of issues here. We have looked at the tradition of Isaiah. We have introduced the book of Isaiah, the background, the historical background to this book of Isaiah. We have looked at the parts of this Isaiah, that it is divided into three parts. The Proto Isaiah, Deutero Isaiah, as well as the Trito Isaiah. So we have also looked at the period when the first or Jerusalem Isaiah lived, and the kings who were there, and the meanings of their names or the names of those kings. So with me here is a quick review questions that can remind you what we have covered so far. So describe the nature of the following parts of the book of Isaiah, Proto Isaiah, Deutero, and Trito. What is the nature of these parts? Give any two facts about Jerusalem Isaiah. There are so many facts that we have looked at. Then also state the meanings of the following names. We have looked at the names of those kings who were there. So what is the meaning of Isaiah, what is the meaning of Ahaz, Hezekiah, and Jotham. So in the next lesson, we are going to proceed by now starting to analyze the message that is contained inside the book of Isaiah. So we'll be looking at God reprimands his people. We'll start by looking at Isaiah chapter 1 from verse 2 to verse 9. So by the way, for you to understand better this lesson or the passages, or as we analyze the book of Isaiah, it is paramount that you have the Good News Bible with you, so that as next time as we come to proceed, you have to read these parts or this chapter, chapter 1, verse 1 through 9. Read that passage, understand that passage, because we are going to analyze that part in the next lesson. So for further studies, for further cross-checking of this lesson, you can also go through Arise in Bible Knowledge. You can find the same content there. The syllabus is there to guide you. Some of these books, maybe you cannot find them, but there are so many books there that you can also find. But if you don't have, number one textbook is the Bible, because everything that we're going to look at, we're going to read the passages of the Bible, then analyze some of the content there. So follow through these things. And if you have any question, please, you can contact me on the WhatsApp number here. And for further studies, because you are a student, you also take other subjects, you can visit xulendo.org. There are so many parts or so many subjects there that are there: biology, chichewa, agriculture, and many other subjects. You find it there. So be there next time as we proceed with this lesson. Until next time, I am your teacher, W.A. Mawowa.